Hey there, every pony, and welcome back to Friendship is Magic. Now that Season 7 is in the books and the green flag is officially dropped for Season 8, especially after the movie, I can't wait to see what's in store this year. And yes, I'm very well aware of the major leaks for several episodes from this season, but I chose to do the right thing and avoided them at all costs. The people who dropped the leaks should be outright ashamed and humiliated with doing that to the show staff. However, that's a different topic for a different video. After coming off of the defeat of the Storm King and his army from the movie, I was definitely curious as to how the aftermath would be dealt with. Having encountered different creatures outside the borders of Equestria both in the show and in the movie, something had to be done to ensure that harmony could be reached to locations of old and new, yet the main seven can't be everywhere at once, right? Well, the solution to that problem was definitely an interesting one, and in turn made for a rather interesting season premiere. Now, the concept behind the season opener and for the season in general is an intriguing one that I'm definitely curious to see how will be played out. I'm not really a massive fan of the idea, but I don't hate it either. I'm just going to give it a fair try because to me, it feels like a natural progression for Twilight's character to try this. She loves nothing more than learning and then helping teach what she's learned to others. We've seen her love of teaching in episodes like Testing 123 and Top Bolt, and she did take on Starlight as a student in Season 6, despite Starlight only being in a small handful of episodes. Plus, she's already been sort of following in Celestia's footsteps with taking on a student, so I do think this would be the next step for Twilight to help spread the values of friendship beyond Equestria. And I won't lie, the geek in me is also seeing this as Twilight's version of the Jedi Academy, Hogwarts, and Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, even though Celestia's school is already an homage to that particular school. However, I promise you, I won't let these comparisons override how I perceive the episodes that involve the school for Season 8. Of course, with the school comes the students. I'm not gonna say I love them since we still have a whole season to get to know them, but I can say they got off on a good start to me. Although I admit it will take me a little bit of time to remember all of their names. Right off the bat, I really enjoyed Gallus' sarcasm when Sandbar bumped into him and when Sandbar tried to get Smolder to be a little nicer to Yona. Plus, I loved how he poked fun at Rainbow's coolness by mocking the fact that she's a teacher. As for Smolder, good God, I can't tell you how much I liked her I don't give a crap attitude about being at the school, and her rebellious nature did lead to a hilarious line from Ember that boiled down to, "You're going because I say so." However, it was honestly really cool to see both Smolder and Gallus hit it off rather early since their personalities meld together really well along with the egotism of being tough that comes naturally to Griffins and Dragons. Since it was their idea to skip Rainbow's class, I can foresee plenty of shenanigans being cooked up between the two this season. And going back to Sandbar, I say it's about damn time that Vincent Tong got to voice a decent character for MLP. Combined with his name and his cutie mark of 3 turtles, he's pretty much the surfer dude of the school group. His sort of mellow personality and voice is easy on the ears, but I also think he had some trouble making friends with ponies. When Smolder and Gallus convinced everyone else to cut class, Sandbar claimed to tag along to be a lookout so the others wouldn't get in trouble, yet if you look at his face, he gives off a look of hope that they actually want him to go. Even though he's well aware of the consequences of being caught, he was the first one to point out that Smolder and Gallus weren't heading to Dash's class. I believe Sandbar sees it as his best chance of finally finding a group where he fits in. He's not too enthusiastic, and his easygoing attitude can be seen as a drain on some excitement to some, but sometimes a group can use someone who knows how to chill and take things easy. With everyone else that agreed to go with Gallus and Smolder, having Sandbar go just makes it a full motley crew. As for Yona, well, she doesn't irritate me like the other yaks do, but I really wouldn't mind if she was a buffalo or a zebra. I mean, seriously, how awesome would it have been if Zecora showed up with a nephew, niece, or a friend zebra kid to the school so we can learn more about the zebras? Besides, despite my contempt for Over a Barrel, I really like the buffalo, yet we haven't gotten anything meaningful from them since Season 1. Why do the yaks, who not a lot of people even like to begin with, keep getting screen time but the buffalo keep getting the finger? Anyway, I don't really have too much to say about Yona, so hopefully she gets fleshed out more this season. I'm willing to give her a chance and she didn't annoy me, so she's off to a better start than the other yaks. Now Ocillus on the other hand was so adorable. Her masquerading as a dragon made for a great gag between Spike, Ember, and Smolder, but she was just too unlawfully cute when she hid under Fluttershy's mane due to her shyness, which kind of makes sense because of how bolder Fluttershy has become up to this point in the show. The shyest of the new group cowers behind someone who used to be as shy as that. Now that's how you do poetry there, Georgie. However, it was interesting to see Ocillus use that defense mechanism to her advantage later on by turning into Rarity to avoid getting caught by Fluttershy. Wait a minute. Can shyness sense other shyness like the Force now? I also like that near the end of the two-parter with the castle and those critters-like creatures, we also got to see that Ocillus actually paid attention in her classes, and combining that with her quick thinking means that I believe she'll be the brains of the group. That leaves Silverstream left, and holy crap, her enthusiasm and energy was contagious. Yeah, I know this comes from being a sea pony for her whole life until the movie, but it's to be expected. I found it funny that she was Queen Novo's niece when Novo had Skystar for a daughter in the movie, so where does Novo's sibling come in? Whatever. I'll be honest, I don't really have much to say about her other than she's really fun to see, but again, it is her first 2 episodes and we have a whole season left to flesh her out. She's definitely off on a good start with me, and I'm predicting we'll get some really good jokes and funny episodes with her. Seriously, if we can get more of her like the gag with the stairs, she'll be fine in my eyes. The students, however, were not the only new characters we got to meet. Neisei was definitely an attention grabber, especially since the room he and the EEA had Twilight and Spike submit the school proposal in gave off a Ministry of Magic courtroom vibe to me. That and his name was kind of on the nose, but holy crap, was this guy just a speciesist a-hole. I get wanting to keep Equestria and its citizens safe as a top priority considering what happened in the movie, but wow, did he let some prejudices out. He did make for a good thorn in Twilight's side about running her school by the book, yet at the same time he just kind of seemed like the stock "you'll do as I say or I'll take this away from you" villain. I do see a lot of potential for him to be a great recurring antagonist this season with the unnerving presence he brings, and I'm very glad we will be seeing more of him this season after he was told off by Celestia and Twilight, because if he was just a one and done antagonist, Neisei would have been a horribly missed opportunity. However, for a debut episode, he's left a good impression that I can't wait to see taken further. And yes, I loved how he entered and exited scenes like Doctor Strange. Ooh, I wonder how awesome it would be to have Benedict Cumberbatch in MLP. Some of my favorite parts in the episode, that should surprise no one, involved Spike. He's been fantastic since Season 6 with only one minor hiccup in Triple Threat from Season 7, but he's back to glory with his encounters with Twilight. When she was trying to assure her friends that the school would smooth out and he grabbed her head and asked what she did with the real Twilight, it was just glorious. And when Twilight was having a breakdown over losing the school and causing tension between Equestria and multiple countries, good lord, it was so great to see him call an Operation Cheer Up after realizing that just talking to her wasn't going to help his friend. I liked that he was quick to act by calling in reinforcements instead of just Twilight's friends coming in on their own. And speaking of her friends helping, there are few words I can use to describe how awesome Starlight was. She's perfect as a guidance counselor considering what she's been through, and she just has that tough love attitude a guidance counselor sorely needs. Seriously, when Starlight Falcon punched that damn book into that damn pond, I cheered. That's pretty much the closest thing to being a slap in the face without being a slap in the face that Twilight needed to snap out of her funk. Heck, that entire scene between Twilight and Starlight on the bridge was great, mainly because of how tough Starlight was. Besides punching the book, Starlight telling her she's not there to cheer her up and reminding Twilight that she made her guidance counselor for a reason were amazing lines that were delivered perfectly by Kelly Sheridan. About the book though, yeah, it kind of affected the episode in a negative way story-wise. The episode was kind of predictable and I thought it was obvious to see it wouldn't go that great at first and that something would happen that would make Twilight and her friends try something different in order for the school to work. For me personally, it doesn't hurt the episode too much, but there weren't very many subversions in the plot. To be fair though, I can see why Twilight was hesitant to stray away from the book given to her by Neisei. He pretty much threatened to her that if even the tiniest detail was out of line from the book, he'd shut her down without blinking. And coupled with her conversation with Celestia about her own school following the EEA protocol, I think it makes sense why Twilight didn't try to do things her own way at first. I did, however, like how they pretty much circumvented the rules without actually breaking them at the end, like in the Recess episode The Dude, where a student teacher figured out how to get the Recess gang and classmates interested in learning about electricity. The destination for the episode was kind of obvious, but sometimes the journey is what matters. And on that journey, there were some great moments I really liked. For example, Luna retained her throne from the movie. I know it's a trivial thing, but it's a neat little detail I can't help but smile at. More so because she actually got to use it unlike in the movie. Other than that, the episode did offer some good jokes, like Ember ordering Smolder to stay at the school, or her calling Thorax a shapeshifter and demanding to know if he's hiding the students, only for Thorax to meekly reply, "But we're friends." Even during that scene, I loved how all the creatures were bickering and accusing each other while poor Thorax was the only one worried about causing an international incident, and he's still a great character. I think my favorite Ember line though had to be at the very end of the final song where she said Smolder can stay if everyone just stopped singing. And we also had Gallus using puppy dog eyes on Grandpa Gruff so he could stay at the school, another student, presumably Gallus, drawing Rainbow as Professor Egghead, General Seaspray wanting Silverstream to show him stairs, and definitely all of those moments with Starlight and Spike. Those were just amazing. I also found myself liking the 6 new students hanging out with one another at the end of part 1 and in the castle of the 2 sisters, which we haven't seen since the Nightmare Moon timeline from season 5. Gallus and Smolder's chemistry together especially really worked well. Ocillus being the shy bookworm was cute, Silverstream was just a blast of fun energy. I loved Sandbar's easygoing approach to everything and how he was freaking out in Sugar Cube Corner, and Yona, well, she didn't annoy me, but she still got the rest of the season to impress me. 5 out of 6 is not a bad start at all for these characters. I also liked how they learned that their customs are very different and that they all look different, but it was their interest and agreement that the school was boring that initially sparked their friendships. The school was a great way for them to meet up since none of them would have been friends without it, but the EEA guidelines didn't allow for any natural progression amongst the students. That had to happen on its own. 5 of them found a common agreement about the school while Sandbar just wanted to make friends and found out that once they were allowed to be themselves, they all found traits that they liked about one another. Well, now that Season 8 is officially here, I can say that I'm really interested in how the new 6 characters will be fleshed out this season and how well their chemistry together will go. And I'm definitely anxious to see more of Neisei, not just to see how much of a thorn he'll be in Twilight's side, but also for him to get some development beyond his speciesist attitude. I think he can be a great season-long antagonist with the proper tools, so we'll have to see what he's got in store for us. If he can be Twilight's Professor Umbridge in a way, I will love Neisei. I think School Daze did a good job in introducing both the new characters and the school for the season. Though Yona can use some work, but like I said, I'll be fair and give her a chance considering there are still 23 episodes left in Season 8. As for the other 5, I like them and can't wait to see what they'll do. The main 7 and Spike were great, Starlight especially, though I can see some people not liking some of Twilight's parts with following the book. And while the story itself wasn't that good since it was a little predictable, the journey in the story definitely helped it. I'm gonna go and give School Daze parts 1 and 2 a green flag rating. Had Twilight tried to circumvent the rules a bit earlier in the episode, I think that would have made the story a bit better. Anyway, I've rambled long enough. What did you think of the Season 8 opener? Let me know down below in the comments and thank you for watching. I'm Mr. Left Turn. I'll see you when I get back from the track.